Oh,
I
we're
hated
live.
Ohio winters.
Oh, I still hate Ohio winters. I mean, I'm living in Ohio, and I'm not going to be able to move from Ohio anytime soon, probably ever. And yeah, Ohio winters suck.
Driving a little Ford Escort. How many times I got stuck and just end up skidding into the side of the road? And
well, I was driving the Mustang at that point.
Yeah,
and that thing was no better in the snow. That was very treacherous. Let's see here.
How much are they calling for you guys?
A foot plus.
Ooh.
So they're being. We have one weatherman who works at Spectrum One in Columbus that used to be our chief meteorologist, and he does everything on YouTube and everything. Not YouTube, but Facebook. That we still follow him, so we get a lot of his stuff. So he'll go on there. He'll show us everything. He's very transparent about what they're seeing, what they're thinking. Everything.
Yeah.
And then we have the lady that took over for him on our local one. And she's transparent, but she's very, very conservative when it comes to her numbers.
Right.
Like she would rather estimate on the low side and get a ton rather than causing a mass hysteria and getting nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's her mindset. And I can see the two different because she actually worked under him.
Uh-huh.
And then when he left, she got the position. So I can see.
I do get that to a point, but I think that the pendulum can swing the other way too, where you call for nothing and then you guys get smacked and nobody's prepared for it, that kind of deal.
Jesus criminy.
Uh-oh.
No, our dog brought in a big old chunk of ice. Apparently, let me see what the picture looks like. This thing is. Oh, and she had to chuck it in the garbage disposal.
Wow.
It's like, how do you get that thing in there?
That's a nice
dog. Dog is tiny. Okay, so do you have anything interesting to talk about this week? I don't think I really have a whole lot.
No, we can shit on Valentine's Day if you want.
Let's shit on it. Let's just take a big old dump on Valentine's Day. I have no problem with that. Figured we'll talk a little bit of Gina Carano like we talked about.
Yeah.
Ohio, we can say Midwest weather, really.
Yeah.
Did you see the Super Bowl? The Tom Brady?
I've just seen pictures of him just looking like he's slung over stuff.
I was watching a video. He was trashed. And he threw the Lombardi from one boat to Gronk on another boat. Like literally, if Gronk didn't catch it, it was going in the drink.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
all right, goat. Party goat.
Well, he's got a 60% completion. And I said Boys are Notorious, how I kind of want to update this. A snowblower, you're going to be getting your new TV. I didn't know you were getting your new TV when I threw that in there. Figured we kind of worked the angle.
It was just finalized today, so.
Well, I figured if she watches the show, she may get the hint. That's hilarious. I think this one we can just kind of let it flow. I mean, we can talk about the weather up here. It doesn't have to be down there. And I mean, like you said earlier, this doesn't have to be any long, drawn out episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Dad joke. Got one? Pull your book out.
I'll find one.
Whip it out and find a joke. Just open a page. You got to open a page and go with the page.
All right, I got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one too. I read it. I was like, oh, that's terrible and hilarious, and crickets written all over it. Let me check my mic real fast. Check. I'm a checker.
Off for President's Day tomorrow, so I'll actually be able to do some uploading and editing. And
oh, nice. I had to work for the first time in like a year on an actual schedule. It kind of sucks. Listen to me bitch about getting a job. Other people can't get a job.
When you're used to certain, I get it. But when you're used to certain things, like if I had to go and find a job where I had to go to work after a year from working from home, and you get to set your own schedule. If I don't feel like going out, I don't go out. If I feel like going out for 3-4 hours, I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's like you're the master of that ship.
Yeah, so. I do as I want when I want, and now it's like, nope, you do as you told. No, wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you better. I'll give you a countdown.
Yes.
And 3.
Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, you don't even have Audacity open.
I don't have Audacity open. Like, oh wait, I'm missing something.
Yeah, you're missing our, how we record our actual our program here.
Okay, give me another countdown.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Welcome back to the Dadnarok Podcast. This is Sean.
And this is Chris.
And it is Valentine's Day today, February 14th, 2021. We're recording on Valentine's Day. I'm sure our wives appreciate that, right?
I don't care about the day, so who cares?
You and I were talking before we started recording. We're not fans of Valentine's Day, not at all.
No, anytime you are kind of put in a position where you're forced into any type of romantic situation or that it's expected of you, it feels kind of weird.
Yeah, like an anniversary I get, because an anniversary is a special day, almost like your birthday, but it's like a couple's birthday, right? So you get to, and it's just for you two. So
yeah, it's specific to you. It's your special day.
Right.
That's different than Valentine's Day.
Which is an obligation to go to the grocery store, get some flowers and chocolates. And, if you don't at least do that, the very least, then, you're looked upon as like, oh, you slouch.
Yeah, this is a Hallmark thing. They built this one for us.
Cards and candy, man. Cards and candy.
Yeah. So, I did the bare minimum. I did the flowers, the chocolates. We did donuts in the morning, but that's something special I do with my daughter. Me and Skylar go pick up donuts and bring them home, and we just kind of do it all. We actually did a dinner kind of last night.
Yeah.
We ordered from Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, there you go.
And it's the first time we've eaten there in years. And it was funny because I ordered a chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
And so we ordered, and then Janice's parents and her aunt ordered as well. So I was trying to explain to them over and over and over again, I don't care if we both put our orders in the same time and both say pick up at 5:30. Mm-hmm. The chances of one of us being done at 5:30 and one being done at 6 is very high. Yeah. Take it from someone that's been picking up food for almost a year.
Right.
If you don't place it together as one order, you're going to have one order sitting in the car getting cold, and you're waiting for the other one if only one person's driving.
Absolutely. Yeah, I concur.
So I was like, don't do that. So we put one order in, and Janessa did it all via the app. And I'm always a little weary about putting food orders in the app because I've had mixed results.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to when we have our meal, and it didn't take long. They got there, they got it taken care of pretty easily. I'm sitting there, I cut into mine, I put the gravy on it and set it up. I actually threw the potato, which was still hot, but into the mic with the cheese on it, so it kind of melts it and everything.
Yeah.
So I take a slice out of this chicken fried steak, and I'm like, this tastes odd. Then I slice and look at it again. I'm like, either this is extremely rare, or I'm eating chicken.
Chicken fried chicken.
It was a chicken. Yeah, it was a chicken fried steak, a chicken fried chicken. Yeah, rather than chicken fried steak.
Wow.
And it was like okay. It was one of those things I wasn't really upset about. It wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah,
but it was one of those things that I always kind of wanted to try, but never really wanted to order.
Not from Texas Roadhouse, yeah.
Yeah, no, I want a steak. I want the chicken fried steak, or I want a filet. I want something like that. So the fact that I got it on accident, it disappointed me a little bit. But I wasn't like, I'm taking this back. I'm getting my real food. Go all.
You weren't about to cause a ruckus.
Yeah, no, I just ate it. Like I said, it was good. It's not something I would order because it wasn't like that good.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still something. And like I said, it was from a place that we haven't eaten at in forever.
Well, nice. Yeah, that's typically what we'll do now. Luckily, I don't, I'm not married to a person that makes a big deal out of Valentine's Day anyway. She has no expectations and never has, luckily. She's not the type where I need to go out and buy jewelry or something for a stupid Hallmark holiday. And now we've actually turned it into a holiday where we just get to spoil Verona a little bit. So we went out and got her like a little plush toy and some candy, and we brought home a balloon, a little Mylar balloon that she's been, banging around the house all day. So it was fun. And then I actually cooked dinner and breakfast today. So breakfast, I cooked bacon, biscuits, and God, what else? I forget. Oh, scrambled eggs. And then for dinner, I actually cooked steak. So I did steak, asparagus, and some roasted potatoes. I did all right.
Oh, yeah, that's a good dinner right there.
Yeah.
The roasted potato. You had me at roasted potatoes. I love a good roasted potato. Like chop up the red potatoes, toss them in either like onion soup mix or put some type of seasoning on them and bake them.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be good. Yeah.
It turned out okay. I'm still waiting to finally kind of go in on getting one of those sous vide machines.
Yes.
That's how I cook my steak. Oh, that's how you cooked it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a machine though. I don't have a sous vide machine. What I do is I heat up a big stock pot full of water, and luckily the glass top of the thing has a little hole in it, where I stick my meat thermometer in.
Okay.
So I get the water to the correct temperature and just do my best to keep it there. Like I said, you can either set your burner really low or set the specific, if you got an LED and a glass top, you can set it specifically. But yeah, I just got it going. So it hit that, 130, 140 mark for like medium well. And I just let them go for like maybe an hour and a half. And I put them in little, Ziploc bags with, I put butter and garlic and some other things in there. And just let them go. And then after that, I finished them off on the, on a really hot pan, just seared them off, and they turned out pretty good.
Yeah. Now, see, what I'm looking at is, I think the thing is called a Joule. See, that's what I'm looking at. And I can just cook Janessa steak without it because she likes leather. So I can.
She likes it well done, huh?
Oh, she likes it so well done. The cow is in the ground. Well done.
Christina is the same way. Like, if it has any pink, I don't care if it's like the one I gave her tonight was like medium well on the side of well. Like it was
nuke it?
Medium well, and it had just the slightest bit of pink. It was mostly gray with just a tinge of pink. And she was like, "Oh, I don't know. This meat's a little bloody." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Now, I used to be the extremely well done person as well. And then I backed it off and tried a medium. I'm like, wow, how have I been eating steak well?
Yeah.
Well, I did medium well, and then I've been to medium. Now, it depends on the restaurant I'm at. Medium at certain restaurants is too underdone for me.
Yeah.
And then medium well sometimes is too far the other way.
Overdone. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just got to figure out what restaurant I'm going to, because they'll give you usually that chart, like where their, the steaks are, what you tell them to cook it, if you still want it mooing or whatever.
I typically either do medium or medium well, depending on the cut. So if it's like a fillet, like filet mignon or something, I'll actually go medium well because that's going to be soft and tender regardless. And I don't want it too like chewy and grizzly, you know what I mean? But if it's going to be like a porterhouse or a New York strip or something that has some bite to it anyway, I usually go with medium. Just so it's a little softer, but it's funny just over the years how your taste is acquired through what kind of steak you like. You kind of learn. I
still eat my scrambled eggs completely scrambled, dry, and browned.
Yeah, we don't want any confusion over what scrambled eggs is served to Chris. That's for sure.
A little bit of an inside joke there. Maybe at some point we'll get into that, but
he'll flip the table on you.
Make a little old lady cry.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. And a story that's never going to leave me. Oh, that's awesome. So, I mean, we had Valentine's Day here, but we had some serious news drop dealing with the Mandalorian. You want to get into that a little bit? I mean, it's kind of political. It's I think the only reason we're willing to touch on it is because it deals directly with kind of what we do on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we've done the Mandalorian after show, and, you and I are big fans, of course, as well as the rest of the country, pretty much. I don't know if I've heard a single bad word about Mandalorian. I think the worst that I've heard of it is like, well, it wasn't really quite what I expected. That was it. That was their criticism.
That's pretty good criticism.
Yeah. But yeah, so Cara Dune is the character. Gina Carano is the actress that plays the character. Look, I like Gina Carano. If you're not living under a rock this week, you've probably heard the news. But she got in some hot water over a tweet, some social media postings, stuff on Instagram, where she essentially, to not put too fine a point on it, she compared her struggle, or just the generic struggle, the general struggle of people with their political views with the struggle that Jews faced with the Nazis back in the day, which is hyperbole at best, man. I don't think it's quite that bad. I don't think you're quite that oppressed.
I didn't. So see, what I typically do is I'm a Twitter person now.
Yeah.
And I follow a lot of other podcasts, and I'll see something trending. I'm like, why is hashtag fire Gina Carano trending again?
Again, yeah. It's not the first time she's got in trouble.
Well, this is like the fourth time that this has been trending on Twitter since I think February. She actually started putting her foot in her mouth pretty securely. And it's kind of like, they gave her a few tries and a few things, reaching out, doing the whole, hey, we have plans for you. Shut up.
They had to have that conversation either by phone or back room. Like, listen, we like you. And I honestly, I like her too. I think she's charming. She's been nothing but just very gracious when it comes to interviews about how excited and honored she is to be playing this character. And this, I was all for it. I wished her success.
I enjoyed her when she was a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
She was Ronda Rousey before Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was the one that was fighting, winning belts, and went into TV. But some reason Ronda Rousey got the title as the first.
Yeah, where she kind of broke through.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of where I got introduced to her. But I mean,
so Disney finally had to let her go after this. After giving her some mulligans the first couple of times, they finally, because they don't play around, man. They got an image. Yeah, they don't need people, putting stuff out there that's even close to that. That's going to affect that high quality, family friendly content.
Well, anything that she does will directly affect them.
Sure.
So if they start putting her on there and don't do something about it, I mean, they just posted amazing numbers for Disney Plus on their subscriptions. What if they did nothing? And then it could affect her words could affect their bottom line.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have no choice in that. I think we talked about it before. And it's kind of if we walk into our boss's office and just call him a jackass. Right. I mean, I've got the freedom to say that, but they have the freedom to give me consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Which I mean, it really sounded like they had some big plans for her. And things were just fastly getting scrapped because they were to the point where they just couldn't, have her in the House of Mouse anymore.
It's a tricky situation too, because it's just as a close example, Mark Hamill, he is Star Wars. He's been Star Wars since '77. He's Luke Skywalker, for Pete's sake. Mm-hmm. He poses his views on Twitter all the time. He's, he didn't like Donald Trump at all, and spoke out against Trump many, many times over those 4 years. And, Disney still invites him to come back. I'm sure Disney would give her carte blanche, like, hey, you want to, step on and do something? And it's really up to Mark Hamill whether or not he wants to step into, whatever shoes there. So, to give Mark Hamill the room to say the things that he says on social media, and then to not give Gina Carano the room to say the things that she says. But then at the same time, it's not apples to apples. It's apples to oranges, in my opinion, anyway. Because it's Mark Hamill is bringing up certain critiques about the way things were transpiring, and but I don't think he ever compared Democrats to Jews in Nazi Germany. I don't think he ever went to that point.
Yeah,
and I think that was the real deal breaker. If Gina Carano would have, go ahead.
I was going to say the closest actual example you can get to Gina Carano is Tim Allen, because Tim Allen is Woody, and he came out. Buzz. Tim Allen is Buzz,
yeah,
and he came out and had Nazi Germany references. It was about 3 years ago or something like that, and he lost his TV show on ABC. They canceled his show, and it was hence picked up by Fox. Which, I mean, it's not a surprise because his views more line up with them. But even we just started watching the most recent season. It's the final season of the show. I told Janessa I was disappointed in them because they started the show with the face masks on and everything, and then they booted All of it. They went forward 4 years. They got rid of the face masks. And also by going forward 4 years, there's nothing political he can touch on. Because we don't know who the president's going to be in 4 years from now.
Right.
So the basis of his show was he was a hardline Republican that worked, ran this, outdoor man store.
Yeah.
And now that he went forward that far, I feel like he got rid of any of that option or opportunity to speak anything political on the show. Now, I didn't agree with it, but there was both sides of it on the show. He had a brother-in-law that was a hardline Democrat, and he was a hardline Republican. So you got that banter back and forth.
Sure.
But there was some episodes that was just too much for me, which I didn't enjoy. But I thought it was weird that he completely booted on that line of the show.
Yeah, that's and Tim Allen's another one where I like Tim Allen, and even though he was a big cokehead in the 80s or whatever, like I mean, he's Tim Allen. I grew up with him being Santa Claus and Buzz Lightyear and Tim the Toolman Taylor. So it's just I don't cancel culture, we bring it up. It's got a term, right? It's the hot term these days, cancel culture. And I think there is a line. I think most of it is appropriate. Most of it is what's the term? Not cancel culture, but consequences culture. If you mess up, there are consequences to your actions. And typically, Disney, for instance, has the right to drop Gina Carano for whatever reason that they choose to. Honestly, any employer does. If how you carry yourself doesn't align specifically in certain ways with the employer, then that's going to happen in any job. But at the same time, I hate to totally disregard people. I think on the left, a lot of times there's this, I'm getting too far into it here, but there's this way to where they totally kind of write people off a lot of the time. I don't like to write people off either. I like, I don't know how you're supposed to expect people to grow and change and learn and appeal to their hearts and minds if you totally disregard them as a person and cancel them essentially.
Yeah. Well, it's like reaching back 10 years within social media. There's a decade there. People grow over that period of time.
Right.
Everything we're talking about with Gina Carano has happened within the last 6 months. I mean, so it's really, really, recent. And she's even come out and said she's not going to apologize for any of it.
Right.
Which it's like, okay.
And there is a line. If she would have kept where the worst she would have posted is, the silly memes about wearing masks and, stuff like that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's harmless enough. Like, I get it. I get your point of views are different from mine. And I'm not going to, wish you to be taken off the Mandalorian because of it. I like your dang character. So whatever.
Yeah.
But like when you get to the point where you're making the comparisons that she was making, which were just totally inappropriate, she crossed that line, it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it sucks. I mean, there's been a lot of people out there asking if they're going to recast her as well. And I don't think her character was important enough to recast. I mean, we got her a little bit here, a little bit there.
Right.
And I seen some like Lucy Lawless, like people wanting her to be casted as her. I'm like, the age don't even line up. Like,
don't recast. The Star Wars universe has only done this once, and it didn't fare very well. Where they recast, Aldrich Arid. I forget the actor's name, but for Solo, a Star Wars story, they didn't de-age, Harrison Ford or whatever. They just went with a different actor in that movie. So I don't think they'll be doing that. I mean, for Pete's sake, if they were going to do that, then they would have just, brought on a new guy for Luke Skywalker during the finale during that. But they didn't. They de-aged to Mark Hamill. So I think you're right. It's the show's not called Cara Dune. It's called The Mandalorian, and she was a big player in season 1 and 2. But you don't know what direction the show is going to take in season 3. So it's
maybe
not
going to Mandalore and not completely off that planet there that she's on. So I mean,
so how do we break away from this?
Yeah, I mean, talking about all of this, I mean, this negative. I mean, we're not a political show. We stray away from all this talk as much as we can. Like I said, the only reason we touched on it is because we are huge Star Wars fans. We have our Mandalorian after show, but to talk about something that we equally hate as well, Tom Brady. He's a prick. I mean, he
not
was
to get negative or anything.
But the funny thing is, the reason we bring him up is he was probably the most relatable Tom Brady we have ever seen. A couple of days after the Super Bowl when they won, they didn't do their traditional like parade and everything, but they did like a boat parade. And Brady was on one boat. There was, Gronk and a bunch of people were on another boat. So there was more than one boat. And Brady completely hammered to the point where he threw the Lombardi trophy from one boat to another to Gronk so he can catch. If Gronk dropped it, the Lombardi trophy was going in the drink.
I could not believe this, man. Like, he's never done this. He's won it, 5 other times, right?
Under Belichick, though. Belichick runs a tight ship.
Yeah, fair enough.
He doesn't run it like a Aryan ship where they're kind of, we're talking ships and Buccaneers. But I mean, yeah, Buccaneers and drinking the rum. I mean, that's pretty much what happened.
I guess so, man. He wanted to party. He wanted to let loose. Which you don't normally see that from the guy, like the leader, the GOAT. You don't see them kind of just revert back to being a 22-year-old college student.
No, and dude, when they got him off the boat, they were literally holding him straight up to walk.
Yeah.
He was gone. I'm like, okay, he's one of us, really. In this instant, I could see me throwing something that I shouldn't be throwing across from boat to boat. I don't know if I'll go as far as the Lombardi trophy. That's kind of ballsy.
I wonder how different it was for him this time around, because you and I complained last week and on last week's show about the Super Bowl and him. But I mean, I feel like this was the one that really solidified his place as the GOAT or whatever you want to say, because a lot of his detractors, a lot of his quote unquote haters, there wasn't a lot of room to stand on this time around when he was able to leave Belichick, go to a team like the Buccaneers, which has always had kind of stop start. They've had some talent over the last few years, but were not able to pull it together. And he took them to the Super Bowl and won the damn thing. So, he shut a lot of people up this year. Maybe that's why he was celebrating extra hard, because it's like, finally, you can get respect from
Belichick didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then he won the Super Bowl. So it's pretty much, it was a mic drop situation for him.
Right.
I mean, he can walk away and right now be like, you know what? Good luck, Belichick. I won. I won the divorce. Bye.
He's not going to, though. He's not retiring.
No, he'd be back next year. I've talked about it. My wife is brutal. She's watches a lot of football with me now, and she's even pointed out she watches more, because we were watching the Daytona 500, and it's actually started at 3.
I saw there's a weather delay.
Yeah, I think they're trying to start it like now. They still have like 500 miles to go. But she's starting asking questions about racing. This is really the only point of the time that I'm actually into racing anymore. Yeah. I watch it in between the Super Bowl and then spring training. So there's a window where I'll pay attention to, because there's nothing else on.
Right.
And right now I'm just so down on like college sports. I don't even watch college basketball. That's should be telling you a lot, because I used to be massive into that.
Oh yeah.
But she's like, when he drops back, she's like, "Oh, break his leg, break his leg, break his ankle."
She's like, brutal.
I'm like, Jesus, honey. I mean, come on.
Break his legs.
But it's going to come down to that. He's going to take a hit and something's going to break. Something's going to give out, and knee's going to give out something. And that's when he's not going to come back. So it's going to be a year plus for a rehabilitation, and he's just going to hang it up.
Yeah. If I were him, and I'm not Tom Brady, but I mean, why not just go out on top, man? Like, you just won. You just proved your detractors wrong. Like,
everything's better on top.
I mean, it's good to be the king. Just like, go out now. Go out while you're ahead. Because, I mean, it's harder because, we saw it with Peyton Manning a little bit. Like, you start talking about your legacy. Yeah, but even then, he started to kind of lose his arm, and he had some. The last couple of seasons with the Broncos were not the greatest for him as far as showing off his talents. So it's tough. You never want to become that athlete that hangs around too long and just kind of loses that spark and gets overshadowed and overpassed. I mean, want to go out on top. But that being said, I mean, there's millions of dollars involved and pride and all those sorts of things. So
he still has the arm. If
yeah.
he still has the arm, I mean, that's the first thing to go. And the arm goes. But since the arm hasn't gone, it's kind of prolonged his ability. It's all those kale shakes. That's what it is.
Yeah. He better lighten up on those drinks, though. Hopefully he's not walking into practice next season, stumbling through the door.
Yeah, no more Fireball. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Oh, dude. So he's down there in that beautiful weather on a boat. Even more of a reason for us not to like him.
Oh, because he's enjoying beautiful, warm weather on the beach.
And we're up here in the Midwest, and we're bearing down for the biggest snowstorm that we have received here in Ohio, or even, I think, even Kentucky.
For a few years now.
Quite some time.
Yeah. My wife blames me. She said it's all my fault because I recently said, hey, if it's going to be cold, then I want it to snow. I'm tired of this cold for cold's sake and just going out with some cold rain. I'd rather, get a decent amount of snow than just this whatever. But lo and behold, a few days ago, we got a nice amount of ice, enough to give us coating. There were no power outages here, thankfully, but enough to just kind of coat things. We got a lot of icicles hanging around. And it, froze the ground. So the ground is just ready to receive some snow.
Yeah.
That stuff's going to accumulate immediately.
Yeah, you guys got ice. We got about 4 to 5 inches of snow out of that.
Yeah.
Which was the biggest, snow amount we've had in the past 2 to 3 years. Until tonight. Until tomorrow, really.
Well, we've mentioned this on the show before, but you and I are about 2.5, 3 hours apart. And the weather here is a lot more mild as far as you guys get a ton more snow than we do typically in a season. And, because we're further south. And this is definitely going to be the largest one. I mean, when it snows here, 1 inch, 2 inches, and, schools are closed and everything kind of shuts down because we freak out. But I mean, they're calling for anywhere between 6 to 10 inches here, and maybe even some spots that get more than that, which that's a big deal for us.
Yeah, they're calling for 9 to a foot plus. So it depends on where one of those heavy bands set up, and that's freaking fantastic. I love, like, if I'm gonna get snow, I want snow in these numbers.
Right.
The 1 and 2 inch snows are just enough to make a mess, freeze over, make the roads a little slick. My car is a complete disaster. It's just so salty and everything, and I wanted to get and wash all of it off, but I know it's pointless because we have this storm that's coming tonight into tomorrow.
Right.
And then we have another one Thursday, which could be another 5 to 6 inches of snow on top of this foot plus.
Woof. It's going to be a rough week here weather-wise.
It's like, my God. It's like, what? Okay, I should learn to shut up.
If you're listening to us, up in the Chicago area or something, you're probably like, what are these guys talking about? We get it a little bit less, but still, it's tough.
Janessa has a friend that I'm friends with up, and I think she's up in Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh,
and she posted a picture of the air temperature. No wind chill, air temperature, -39.
Oh, wow. Why would you live there?
I wouldn't even know if, when it's so cold, you take a breath outside and you feel your lungs freeze.
Yes, it hurts. It stings to breathe.
I've never that air temperature I've never touched. I could not imagine not having a scarf or something over and taking a breath. It would hurt.
Oh yeah. Well, God bless her. Good luck to her.
Oh man, you're a special person to be able to handle that kind of weather.
Absolutely.
And with that weather, with that nasty weather,
transitions here. All right, you go ahead.
With that, that gnarly weather coming, I've always kind of joked around with Janessa, I want a snowblower. I am tired of shoveling snow. The older I get, the less I want to shovel. Granted, I plow it. I put my shovel down. I just push it and kick it. Push it and kick it. I don't even pick it up.
Yeah.
But come to find out, Janessa's parents, they moved here 4 years ago, maybe. That's a big maybe. But her dad has his own snowblower. And then Janessa's grandfather passed away, and they lived in the middle of nowhere in Indiana.
Yeah.
And he had one. So this is big old industrial. This thing's a monster. and Janessa's dad's trying to get that one to work. So if he gets that one to work, in turn, I'm probably gonna get the hand-me-down of the other one. So
nice.
I won't be actually shoveling snow anymore. But I probably won't get snow for the next 5 years.
Right.
So I'll have this snowblower taking up room in the garage and no use for it.
Yeah, it's a good way to ensure that you guys don't get any more bad weather here for quite a long time if you have a super duper snowblower. But that's so funny. That's something that I would kill for this week. I know I'm going to be shoveling our driveway and wrecking my shoulders this week. So getting a snowblower would be a big thing.
Yeah, he goes out there with his leaf blower too. Like if it's fluffy enough, he'll just blow it off with this leaf blower. I'm like, I never seen anyone do that before. Until one day I was walking Zach to school and some dude was doing the same thing. I'm like, what the hell? Why do I hear a leaf blower? What the hell is going on?
That must be a powerful leaf blower.
Well, if it's light enough and fluffy enough.
Yeah.
But if you blow all the all that fluff off and then put salt down, that'll take care of it. So, I mean, I went as far as putting all of my salt melt or ice melt in my grass seeder, and I push it up and down the driveway and then on the sidewalk in front of the house.
Oh man, toys and their toys. We love as we get older. That's so funny how you can get excited about things like a snowblower. We're just taking a trip to Home Depot is like the new Toys R Us, man.
Dude, we're getting old.
Speaking of which, you and I are, it's kind of one of those things. It's like post holidays where you get to start thinking about yourself again.
Yeah.
During the holidays, you got to think about getting gifts for other folks. And I don't know, for me anyway, the rest of the year, I'm like, oh, what kind of project can I get into? What can I tinker around with? And you have had your eye on upgrading your PC recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I bought this PC to do what we're doing here. And our streaming and everything, and I got what I paid for. I mean, quite frankly, I paid like $500. Got two monitors, got a tower, and it's like the bare minimum. But I mean, the video card is terrible in it. The RAM is terrible in it. I need a new hard drive on it to make it a little more useful. So I think I'm gonna start bidding. I'm gonna start building it. I'm gonna start putting upgrades into it, and eventually, this will probably wind up being Zach's computer. So he can actually do his gaming because if you guys know us, he's got his own little YouTube channel now that he streams his games playing Roblox games, and Janessa's not a huge fan of it. She doesn't really like him doing it. She doesn't like Skylar doing little videos either. She's just not for it. But my argument to that is, first of all, you saying that means you're old. Right. Second, it's like, would you rather me monitor him doing it than or him doing it by himself? Because it's going to happen. These are the things that we kind of got to continue doing and continue being knowledgeable about, because, I mean, we're going to get passed by. Eventually, it's going to happen. No matter how hard we try to keep up on things, we will get passed by at some point. We'll be like, oh, no, I don't want nothing to do with that. And then all of a sudden, we're screwed because we didn't keep up on things.
Oh, exactly. It's coming. Little bits and pieces as I get older. There are things that go by me as far as like the media my kid consumes. Like it's all YouTube all the time. I try to like, well, hey, here's Muppet Babies, or here's something that I liked when I was a kid, or here's this. She has no care in the world about any about that. So it's like, whatever I can still keep up with to connect. Like I'm not going to be doing TikTok videos and stuff. I'll leave that to Christina. But it's so hard to try to keep up because it's like, I don't know. I don't want to do a TikTok video. I don't care about TikTok. But building PCs is something that is fun, and he could learn from, and he could watch you do some things as you're kind of getting back into it. I remember growing up when you and I were kids, we were probably like 12, 13, and your stepdad would have like half-built PCs just like laying around the house all the time.
Oh yeah, that's kind of how I got my enjoyment from it. And then there was a period of time where I just fell out of it. I haven't done anything with a PC really in forever. That was a long time. I didn't have a tower. I had a laptop, and that's about it. So I had the bare minimum to be able to do what I needed to do, because I really didn't do it. The internet got boring. Quite frankly, there was nothing on the internet. There's only so many sets of boobs you can see.
Look, kids, when we were growing up, we were in the Wild West of the internet, and there were all sort of things. And the Wild West got tamed, man. Now it's all big corporations, and it's anyway.
I mean, there was Napster and
Oh,
BitTorrenting, and I think BitTorrenting still kind of exists a little bit, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
there's a
not to the extent it
lot.
did.
No, there's a lot out there you can do that nowadays you can shut down real fast for.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I got bored with all of it. It's like, you know what? The most I was on my phone kind of looking at things, but even my phone gets boring. I'm like, maybe I just don't have the attention span anymore. I just don't care.
Right. Well, I'm like that way too, except when it comes to certain things. Like I'll pinpoint and kind of zoom in on certain things where I care a lot about it, and it'll be like the only thing I think about for a bit, right? Until I'm done and I'm through it, and then I move on to the next thing. Right now, I'm trying my best to kind of try to set up a home theater down here in the basement. I've already got like the first thing when I moved in, I knew like the first priority that I would have to do is like build a good desk to do the podcast from, a separate quiet area, because you and I do it every week and it just made sense. Like I didn't want to delay that at all. So that's what I did. I've got my corner desk here. I've got my dual monitor set up and lights and it's set up nice. But the next thing I want to do, once we get out of this pandemic, we start having people over again. I want to have a nice little hangout area. Like we've already got a pool table / ping pong table back there. We've got darts. I've got a fridge down here with drinks. I want to be able to immerse myself in a movie. It's been a while, man. Because you actually helped me get a brand new TV when things started to go to the 4K route, more and more prevalent. This was maybe 3 years ago now. And you helped me kind of convince my wife to get the 55-inch TLC in my living room, which, wasn't a necessity. We already had a TV, but I wanted 4K, dang it. Like, there's more and more 4K content coming out. And you and I kind of did the work to get it. And I love that TV, man. It was a great TV. But now that, it was in a smaller living room in a smaller house. So because you're closer to it, it looks huge. But now I've got it hanging up above the fireplace, and there's some distance between me and it. And honestly, like to watch content, it's not my go-to place. Like I've been watching a lot of content on my phone or on this kind of older TV in our bedroom. And I was like, man, I need to set up a nice kind of home theater system down here because I got the space for it. I want a TV with a decent size on it. I want a nice little, nothing too extravagant, but a nice little sound system to put down here. So you can kind of
say, we got to start working on we need a Sonos system set up.
Oh, dude, that would be great. Sonos, yeah. That outside of my budget.
Yeah, when it comes to like stereos for like one room, like some people are like, I don't want it all the way around. I got, all these other Google Homes and all these other things that are set up that are connected.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it in all the rooms, but if you're looking for one individual room where you don't want like speaker wire hanging all over the place, dude, the Sonos system is where it's at. I mean, my actual play base,
right,
and then the two speakers I have, I want to get a sub to give a little more depth and sound.
Right.
But the sub by itself is like another $800.
Oh, audiophiles and speakers and nice systems, you start running a pretty penny. But it's like the more you spend, it's like with anything, but specifically that, like you can kind of get a cheap TV and then get like an expensive OLED. And at the end of the day, sure, there's going to be differences like in picture quality. But really, even with kind of the cheaper end TVs, you're still getting good resolution, good contrast ratio, and it's not that bad unless your eye is kind of attuned to, the discrepancies, right? But when it comes to audio, like you spend, say, I don't know, $100 on a cheap system or something, you're going to get sound dropping out. You're going to get stuff that doesn't work with your phone.
Always weary about Bluetooth or something like that set up.
Yeah.
For any type of wireless setup. So I remember you had a wireless setup a ways back. And it just was dropping in and out. It didn't sound, when it was up, it sounded good, but you remember you having so many issues with it.
Oh, my Panasonic, where the back speaker channels were wireless. And you'd be watching a movie and all of a sudden half the sound drops out. It was the most annoying thing ever.
This system is so good. I mean, unfortunately, we're not sponsored by them. But we were watching Spider-Man Far From Home, or was it Homecoming? The Spider-Man 2, the most
Far From Home.
Far From Home. We were watching Spider-Man Far From Home, and the point where Mysterio has Spider-Man like completely engulfed, all you do is hear his voice circling you. It sounded fantastic in the living room. I thought it was the coolest port. Like, we always used to test our stereo to Casper,
Right.
the live action one. So when he sits on top of the railing and he slides down and you hear him basically go all the way around you.
Oh, yeah.
That was always the test of the stereo to make sure all the channels worked. Everything was at a good level.
Right.
This may be the new go-to. It was that awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So that'll be second priority. Luckily, today, my wife kind of gave me the okay to go ahead and order the TV and take advantage of this President's Day sale while it's still going. So here the next few weeks, it'll take a bit for them to deliver, actually, between the weather and between the fact that I'm kind of ordering from the Best Buy website. But yeah, I'll have a different TV behind me, because right now I ended up settling for this thing is a beast. It's only 720 resolution. It's like 43 inches, but I swear it's like 50, 60 pounds. And I carried it down here. It's an old plasma.
Massive. I underestimated. I've got the big old plasma in the back bedroom here.
Yeah.
And it took two of us to move it. I mean, it's a 50-inch TV, so it's awkward to start with.
Right.
But the weight on it weighs the same, probably like Skylar. It's like, it's huge.
Not only have TVs gotten better, they've gotten lighter over the years. That's for sure.
I would not put that on the wall because I would not trust it to be on the wall. Just all of a sudden you hear boom. Oh, hell.
Oh, that'd be rough.
Yeah, that would be. But what do you think? Is it a good time to jump into that, onto that sled on top of that big hill and slip our old asses right into the cheesy?
Yeah, let's sled into the cheesy.
Let's sled into the cheesy. So I'm gonna let you go first, sir, because you said you picked your joke quick. I want to hear it.
I did. Okay. It's out of my joke book. All right, ready?
Go for it.
Why did the coffee call the police?
Why did the coffee call the police?
Because it got mugged.
Yeah, that's crickets.
That's like a coffee mug. Come on.
I was trying to think of anything, and I was like, nope, I didn't see that one coming. At least I don't know the punchlines.
That's true. Hey, I'll take it, because normally you do.
Yeah, normally I punch. I had to make a big point of, I don't know, Sean.
You need to quit studying them damn books.
Okay, here's one for you.
All right.
How do locomotives get from point A to point B?
I do not know.
Lots of training.
Training.
Oh, man, you laughed. Not cool.
I really like that one. Lots of training.
Oh, man, that's man. I groaned when I read it. I didn't expect you to laugh.
Yeah, that was right up my alley.
I almost got a Dad Jokes book 2 part 2. I was in one of our local stores and I was like, I need to get through this one first.
I need to get another one because this one's not great. Apparently,
they're not supposed to be great.
Okay,
guys.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, you go for it. I was going to just jump into the closings.
I'd rather you do that.
Okay, guys. Well, I mean, you got everything you got out of us today. You got a very, very groaning joke, and then I thought I was going to give a groaning joke, and I got a laugh, so I'm a little disappointed. My bar is groans.
I'm so sorry.
But what we do every week. We do our WandaVision after show. It is on at 10 o'clock on our YouTube channel. Check it out. We have that. We've already mentioned our Mandalorian episodes as well. So if you're not caught up on that, go through it and watch the Mandalorian a second time and visit, the episodes and see what we missed, or we were way off or whatever. That's maybe something fun for me to do, honestly. And we also have all our socials, Facebook, TikTok, like the old man over there said he wouldn't do. Our Twitter, all the works. I mean, we're pretty much everywhere. And give us a like. Check us out. I mean, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers over on YouTube. Any love is appreciated. So click that subscribe button, bell, and be a part of this craziness we call Dadnarok.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate it. We appreciate you guys joining us each and every week. If you only listen to the podcast, we implore you to go check out our other things. We do a lot over on YouTube, man. It's actually a good site for all of our video content because most of it gets planted on there. I know we do our live recordings on Twitch as we record the podcast, and that eventually goes over to YouTube. And of course, our weekly WandaVision recap, too. So go ahead and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Check out Dadnarok.com for past episodes, all those links, and our shop, of course, on TeePublic. Get you a Dadnarok Podcast mask. We're still wearing them, people. But besides that, I guess that's it for the week.
Well, I think that's a good spot for us to go ahead and cruise into the cheesy for next week. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
Any saying? What do you want to throw in? Is there anything you can even throw in there?
I don't know.
Let's say, do you have a Jim Cantori quote maybe for weather?
No. I'll think of something tomorrow.
Boys and their toys. Okay. Well, I thought I hit stop. I didn't, apparently. I'll end our broadcast here.